The CELLS.5 standard is about two more body parts or organelles of the cell. One is called mitochondria and the other one is called chloroplast. They actually do very similar stuff, so that's why they're paired together. So we talked about the endomembrane system, we talked about the nucleus and ribosomes, they work together. The mitochondria and the chloroplast, they also work together. Mitochondria is in both plants and animals. It is where you have respiration. And you remember the word respiration, you may hear it's called breathing. What respiration is they basically take oxygen, like when you breathe and when you eat, and turn it into energy. It has a double membrane, so it has an outer and inner membrane. It has something called cristae. So remember we talked about in a previous standard video about how we need a lot of folds, why we need a lot of surface area. So that's why the mitochondria, because it creates energy, because it needs oxygen, it has a whole lot of folds as well. It creates energy in the form of something called ATP, and that's why we have this increased surface area. On the inside, I have something called a matrix. It's not the matrix, but a matrix is like this inner compartment which is made of fluid. So here on the inside of a mitochondria, so first of all, you see all these folds, those are called cristae, and the inside, this fluid part, that's called the matrix. Chloroplasts are only in plants, so mitochondria is in both, chloroplast is only in plants. For plants, they have photosynthesis. Same thing, they have a double membrane. Instead of folds of cristae in mitochondria, they have thylakoids. They're these discs, they're these green discs. So they sort of look like a stack of Mentos, and those stacks are called grana. On the inside, the fluidy stuff that's on the inside is called stroma. It's green because it uses something called chlorophyll, and green, the reason why things are green, why chloroplast is green, why plants are green, is because they can absorb more light. So, we don't need this slide. I don't think this slide is on yours. But there is actually this theory about mitochondria and chloroplasts. It's called the Endosymbiotic Theory. And the theory is that mitochondria and chloroplasts actually were once, mitochondria actually evolved from, mitochondria and chloroplasts actually evolved from the same organelle one time or another. And they're saying, like, why would you think that mitochondria and chloroplasts were once related? Well, prokaryotic cells, they're engulfed, like the reason why there's no more prokaryotic cells is they eventually evolved into eukaryotes. But there's evidence that we could prove that, hey, mitochondria and chloroplasts, they had to be related. First of all, they both have that same double membrane structure. They both have their own ribosomes and DNA. And they both are sort of independent. They both have their own deal going on. So because both mitochondria and chloroplasts, they both have membranes, both have ribosomes and DNA, and both sort of reproduce independently without any help of the rest of the cell, they're like, hey, these things, these organs, they have to have had the same origin or the same parent. So there's something interesting about mitochondria and chloroplasts. And the last slide, peroxisomes. I know this isn't in the standard, but it sort of goes along with it. A peroxisome, its whole function is to break down fatty acids and detox alcohol. So what it does, a peroxisome, is it creates, just like it sounds like, see how it says perox? It creates hydrogen peroxide. So the reason why you need to know peroxisome in this standard is here in a plant, you can tell this is a plant because it has a chloroplast and a mitochondria, is that sort of somewhere in the middle, I have a peroxisome. And if anything like sort of interferes or have any problems with, with the alcohol, the fatty acids, with the chloroplast and the mitochondrion, this peroxisome is here to break it down and sort of get rid of it for the two parts. So that's a very short standard. Again, it's about the mitochondria and the chloroplasts.